Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to your eclipse reading. This is going to be for the two eclipses that are happening, one on the 7th in Pisces and one on the 21st in Virgo. So these readings will go out for about 6 months or so. Eclipse seasons can last for a long period of time, and so you'll be feeling this energy for a while. You have this card that says nothing will come of this situation. You also have this card that says don't let your past hold you back. That's the whole point of eclipses, is to make sure that you are not letting something from the past hold you back. I shouldn't say the whole point, but that's a point to dealing with the eclipse energy, right? And so, again, letting go of something that's been holding you back or releasing those things is a good idea. Your first row here is going to represent what is being revealed to you at this time. Eclipses tend to reveal things to us. You have two cards here. You have the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Cups, the Eight of Swords, and the Judgment card. Quite simply, this is amazing. Those three cards together like that, four cards I should say, really could represent what's being revealed to you is like where you're stuck and how to set yourself free. So a lot of you could be gaining a lot of freedom. Now, one thing I will say is, according to Chris's crappy astrology here, we have the Uranus will be retrograding from Gemini back into Taurus on November 7th. So for you fixed signs, it is a very, it's a very important time to focus on freedom. This is kind of like your last shot at setting yourself free from something that's kept you stuck for a long time. The thing is, it doesn't have to be anything major or significant or anything like that, but eclipses are considered like a catalyst, right? They can be a catalyst to something like a change or something that we're doing. And so it wouldn't surprise me if some of you were like looking at things that keep you stuck and, you decided to set those things free or to set yourself free at this time. And this could be now or 6 months from now. You have the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords. Again, the Ace of Swords is like your truth. And we are also in a time of truth right now. So anything that you can do to focus on your own internal truth would be good. The Ace of Cups, there is a little bit of love here. So, if you want love, this could definitely be love communication, because we go from the Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups down to the Eight of Wands to the Page of Cups. Eight of Wands is definitely communication, and the Page of Cups can obviously be admirer. So I do feel some of you, love could be being revealed to you, literally. I also feel you need to pay attention to things you're like that you are enjoying. The Ace of Cups is overflowing, and the Ace of Cups can easily cause itself to overflow by dipping down into the water below it, Scorpio. And so sometimes I feel that the Ace of Cups wants us to make sure that we're doing things that cause us to overflow. And if you could do more of those things, your life will get better, of course. You have the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords can be about setting yourself free from things that no longer serve you. So I think it would be a great time to remove yourself from things that have been holding you back here, Scorpio. And, literally I feel something could be being revealed to you at this time as to like what has been keeping you stuck. It is kind of interesting to me. I didn't really expect this either, but these eclipse readings, and even the readings I just did for the week of September 8th, which is the day after the Pisces eclipse, a lot of those readings were talking about getting answers. And so I don't know. Sometimes I can't predict everything, right? I don't know everything, obviously. I wouldn't trust any intuitive that claims they do. But what I would say here is that I feel that we could be getting answers after this Pisces eclipse in particular, and it could be something that sets you free. And here are the answers right here. The Judgment card. This is your higher self angel. So it's like your higher self is guiding you at this time, Scorpio. I feel like your higher self wants the best for you as well. So there could be a lot of guidance. Definitely could be some sort of wake-up call. I mean, we have the Ace of Swords, the Eight of Wands going this way. This is definitely wake-up call type energy, but I feel like a motivated wake-up call. I feel like you feel more motivated. I feel like you feel more driven, or like something is causing you to feel more driven, or like you should be pushing things a little bit more. I don't know how to describe it, but it feels good. I think it's a good thing, right? This is like the type of energy that, where you wake up in the morning excited to, get going. So a lot of you could be, maybe you haven't had that energy in a long time, and, that could be returning for you here, Scorpio. So I definitely like to see that for sure. But let's see here what is going on for you. With the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords, you have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands with the Three of Wands right here, right next to it, wants you to adventure. We are in a very adventurous time. But I also think like embracing a more happy-go-lucky type energy. Just, he's willing to just see how things go with, pretty much on anything in his life. And so I think having that adventurous type attitude is an excellent attitude for everyone, really, but definitely for you. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Three of Swords. Yeah, a lot of people are probably going to heal during this eclipse, the September 21st one in Virgo, because it's Virgo. And, we have the South Node in Virgo as well. We also have the Chiron in Aries, retrograde. There's a lot of stuff going on that I think could be triggering people to heal or causing people to heal. Could be pointing things out to you like that you need to release to be able to heal as well. So it's an excellent time for healing. The Three of Swords is heartbreak, but again, we're asking what is being revealed at this time in this row. And so I feel like what's being revealed is kind of like the things that hurt you. And I feel that a lot of you could either be healing those things or removing those things from your life. With the Judgment card, you have the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles says, do not call attention to your weaknesses. It wants you to focus on your strengths. Definitely, I think this would be a good thing for Scorpio to do because, again, you're being asked to do things that probably do require more strength in the first place. And, when you think about it, you do want to be stronger because then you get better things in life. And so I feel this is just encouraging you to, build your strength. I also feel it's encouraging you to focus on what you are good at, not on the things that you are not good at. I always say that this card is really about your attention and what you pay attention to. Next in the area of, what's being eclipsed out of your life at this time. Eclipses obviously eclipse things out. You have this Awakening Genius card and the Spirit of Gratitude card. I don't think you're getting rid of any of either of these things. Really, I think these could be two things that you're waking up to, really. It's kind of like you're awakening your genius with the Judgment card, Eight of Wands here, all this other stuff. And I feel that being more grateful, of course, would be good. We are in a time of manifestation as well. So, of course, gratitude is one of the best energies to manifest from. And so I would do that. Now, one thing I will say is I think the world needs to see your genius is really what this is saying. So it's kind of like what's being eclipsed out of your life is what you keep hidden. You have the Hermit here, which you always get the Hermit with me. And the Hermit makes a lot of sense right now because of the South Node in Virgo. The whole point, I always say that people who are born with like North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo, usually in a past life, they kind of escape to the top of a mountain. The story of people who are born with those two nodes is that people like that in a past life, something hurt them in the world, and so they decided to punish the world by escaping and becoming a hermit. And so they think that they're by not sharing their genius that they can protect themselves, but really they can't. They just end up alone. And so I think a lot of people could maybe it not that level of intensity, but I do think that people could be seeing where they are hurting themselves, like I already said in your reading, or kind of where maybe you don't have to punish the world or something like that. I also think you need to take up more space in the world with the Three of Wands. Three of Wands wants us to expand, grow, all that other good stuff. You have the Eight of Wands, which is like a quick success or a quick conclusion. I feel like you're releasing friction. I always say the Eight of Wands is my card of creating a slip and slide in life. We have to look at where there is friction, where things slow us down, and we have to make them more slippery, right? And that's what I would be doing with this card. It's like, how can you make life more slippery, or how can you make things work better for you in certain areas of your life? I do also feel there's clearly communication coming in. Even though this row is representing what's being eclipsed out, I just really feel this here is saying that there's going to be communication between you and a person that you like, if you want love. And I mean, look at this, Four of Wands, Ten of Cups, looks very positive. Whatever. This is a new deck and I can't pick it up off the table, but you have the High Priestess. The High Priestess is about trusting your intuition. I kind of feel like what you're releasing here, or what's being eclipsed out of your life, is just dreamy energy. It's not like you're done dreaming. I don't want to use the wrong words here, Scorpio, but I feel like now, maybe this isn't something being released, but I think now you will have a dream and take an action. It's like you're not just going to dream. anymore. I feel like you are being shown the potential of your life. It's almost like you are seeing potential, or like what has potential in your life. And I feel you need to pay attention to that with the High Priestess as well. The High Priestess, she has no roof over her head. The whole point of the card is that she has unlimited potential, but she needs to believe in her, but she needs to exercise that potential. Maybe that's a better way to put it. It's like you can dream about, a business or a relationship you want all day long, but until you put it into practice, you don't know. You don't know if it's going to work or not, right? So, the trick with her is to embrace the mystery and see what happens. And that's exactly what I would do there with that High Priestess. You could also be attracting a Pisces or a Virgo is what I'm trying to say. With the Three of Wands, you have the King of Pentacles. Yeah, leaving comfort zones. King of Pentacles isn't bad. Personally, I like the King of Pentacles, of course. It's a card of wealth and wealth building, and he's very successful. But, maybe something that he could work on, not necessarily a bad thing, is that he just does what works. And there really isn't anything wrong with doing what works, except over time. Right? I always use the example of Blockbuster, right? Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore because they had an opportunity to buy Netflix and they didn't, right? And so Blockbuster doesn't exist because they didn't get with the times, right? They did what worked until it didn't. And that is the King of Pentacles. He encourages us to experiment. He encourages us, 80% of the time do what works, but 20% of the time in all areas of life, we should be experimenting and trying new things. With the Eight of Wands, you have the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is a card of fulfillment or wish fulfillment. I do feel like some of you could literally be wishing for something that you're going to receive. Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups, Nine of Cups. Are you kidding? It's a very good energy to get a wish or something here, Scorpio. So, I literally feel there could be wish or wish fulfillment coming in. Yeah, with the High Priestess, exactly what I said. You have the Fool. You are no longer just going to dream, which is good. This is a good thing, Scorpio. I feel it's not like you're not going to dream. It's just like you are just no longer going to dream something and then not do it. The Fool, the whole point of the Fool is that he is taking the risk of looking foolish. People might call him a fool for taking this leap of faith that he's going to be taking, right? And so, a lot of you, I feel like it's like you're not caring what people think, and that could be something that you're releasing, is the need to get approval from others. And that could be what you're setting yourself free from in your first row as well. And that will make you very powerful at this time. The whole point of the Fool is that he has to be willing to look like a fool. And, I feel that. As a fool myself, I feel that. Next, we're going to look at where you are being redirected at this time. Usually, we are being redirected somewhere during eclipses. You have this Communicate card and this Abundance card. Yes, I think it is definitely time for you to communicate with the Eight of Wands, the Ace of Swords. If you're interested in a person or something, I'm not saying you have to tell them you're interested, but I do think it would be, maybe you have to flirt or something like that. I also feel like you need to ask for what you want, unapologetically with this Abundance card. I'm a big fan of that. I tell people all the time that, they shouldn't settle, right? I feel like if you want something, you should ask for exactly what you want. But what most people do is they say, I want $10 million, but I'd be happy with one. It's like you are apologizing for what you want when you do that, right? So we have to be unapologetic in what we are asking for. That's the only way we can get it. And so I definitely feel this is encouraging you to, ask for things unapologetically. You have the Nine of Wands, the Hermit, and the Page of Cups. The Nine of Wands is the Wounded Warrior. The Nine of Wands says, don't give up at this time, right? And so and I kind of said don't settle, and the Nine of Wands doesn't really represent not settling, but I do feel that for you. I feel the need to say that in your reading. I don't remember exactly where I said it, but I feel like it's saying, again, don't ask for something and then settle for less. You need to ask for exactly what you want and freaking go for it, right? It's that's what this reading is encouraging, I feel. So, definitely something I'd pay attention to. By the way, it's coming up right next to the King of Pentacles. And again, the King of Pentacles is about, 20% of the time trying something new. So I think it would be a great time for you to experiment, try new things. This is my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, which I also think would be good for you here, Scorpio. You have the Hermit. Yeah, I think you're doing a lot of healing, like I said. I do feel like there's something that needs to be revealed. It is weird. All three water signs had something similar. Not exactly the same, but, this might be a water sign thing because of this eclipse that's happening in Pisces. It's going to obviously affect the water signs more. And so this is coming up in the area of where you're being redirected. I think you already have a direction that you want to move in your life. Something new, something different. Maybe the Hermit is about admitting it. Maybe the Hermit is about admitting that you want things to be different in your life, or you want things to go in a different direction, right? He has the star in the lantern here. The whole point of the star in the lantern is that he needs to shine that star out all over the place. That star is his inner light. He has found his inner light, but he shouldn't be keeping it hidden inside that lantern. Like, it is time for you to blast your star out all over the place, Scorpio. I think it's time for you to like really, shine your light bright in the world. And I kind of feel this is definitely a fixed sign thing that is going on right now, but, it's showing up for you. You have the Page of Cups. I do think that there could be an admirer for you. It is a great time for love for water signs as well. So if you want love, definitely could be a water sign. Earth and water stand out to me, of course, in this reading for obvious reasons, but if you want love, definitely could be an admirer coming in for you. For some of you, I feel like you're the admirer. And obviously, if you're the admirer and if you're admiring a person who doesn't know, then you're going to have to do some like flirting or something like that here, Scorpio, to get it going. So like, don't be afraid to flirt. The other thing is that he is dreaming, right? We have this fish in this cup. I always say that fish might not exist. We have no freaking clue. So I feel for a lot of you that the Page of Cups, I always say that sometimes I think that we don't know if that fish is real or not, right? Like that some readers say that fish is his pet. Some say it's his imagination. Some say he caught the fish from the water behind him, right? It's just different. All I know is that fish could easily jump into the water behind him and escape. So the trick with the Page of Cups is to not let your dreams just like pass you by. You have to grab onto them and ground them in reality. And I feel that a lot of you could be doing that. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Eight of Wands. You have to claim something, right? It's like, again, I think you need to claim something in the sense that you ask for something unapologetically. You really have to make something happen here is what I'm getting. With the Hermit, you have the Eight of Swords, twice. So again, I think that a lot of you, what could help set you free is shining your inner light, right, with this energy. So it's like maybe some of you need to shine your light brighter. Maybe some of you need to stand out more, or maybe you need to do things to stand out more, with this energy. And it's definitely something I would think about with the Hermit and the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is only seeing one way of doing things when there are many. The good news is that this is coming up in the area of where you're being redirected. So I feel a lot of you, it's like you could be, like this literally could say that you are finally seeing like other ways of doing things, and that could be setting you free, which is great. The other thing that I feel here, Scorpio, is like I feel like you're kind of like in a space now where you're not making a big deal out of things, and I mean this like in a good way. I feel that there are maybe old Scorpio, maybe years ago, you would have made a big deal about certain things that were happening in your life. It's almost like you're just like letting things go in a certain way, and like good and bad things. Like I think both, right? And it's not like you're just ignoring challenges or anything like that. I feel like you're just in a better place, maybe. And the thing is that I think you're really going to feel this next year, but I think you're starting to get there. And, really we have to kind of clear March, I think, personally. And this is a personal belief. It's not intuitive. But I don't know. Just looking at the astrology, looking at some of the things that are going on, I'm like, we really have to just, kind of move forward until March. And once we get into March, I think we'll be fine. Not that anything bad's going to happen or anything, but, I think we have to get to March. And, but I think that's when you're really going to feel this, but I think you're feeling it right now as well. With the Page of Cups, you have the Seven of Wands. Yeah, I think you have to open up, right? Seven of Wands is about, and also Three of Swords twice. The whole point of Three of Swords is that sometimes we have to take the risk of being hurt. That's what we do have to do in love, is that we have to take the risk of, potentially being hurt. And, I think the Seven of Wands is saying sometimes you have to open up and make that happen. And especially if you want to have something great. Next, we're going to look at your next chapter. Again, after eclipses, usually we are entering into a new chapter of life, and this is also going to represent your next 6 months, because again, eclipse seasons last for about 6 months to a year, sometimes longer. You have this losing teeth card. It says self-image, fear of loss, life changes. Literally, we just talked about that with the Three of Swords. Again, I feel like you have to release that fear of loss. You have this naked in public card. It says vulnerability, shame, and unprepared. I think that's how you feel, maybe. For those of you that are looking at love, you could feel that vulnerable or the fears, kind of popping up. But, you have the Fool. And like I said, the Fool, he has to take the risk of being a fool. He has to take the risk of doing something and being wrong. He has to take the risk of, putting himself out there, or, whatever you want to call it. So, I feel a lot of you could be like facing those risks. You have the Three of Swords, the Four of Wands, and the Ten of Cups. The Three of Swords can represent healing or needing to heal. And like I said, I think that you could be going through a deep healing at this time. It's kind of hard not to with Virgo, with the South Node in Virgo at this moment. So, yeah, it just doesn't really surprise me. Like I said, I think it's a very common energy right now, and it will be with the South Node in Virgo. So a lot of you will be continuing your healing, which is great. What I will say is that the Three of Swords is about forgiveness. So a great thing to do with the Three of Swords is to forgive the past and move on. Next, you have the Four of Wands. Definitely could be entering into a new commitment. This could be love, but I kind of feel like it's both for a lot of you, like love and otherwise. The Four of Wands is a great card of commitment. So if you want new love, there's clearly new love here. It doesn't have to mean that you have to marry this person, but, definitely could go there. But the Four of Wands can also be you celebrating committing to something else. These two people here are celebrating on the other side of these Four of Wands. And so the Four of Wands can say you're making commitment to like a new job or a new career or, something else. So I do feel there could just be like a lot of happiness coming in for you because you're committing to new things. And that's popping into my head with this card. I also feel that some of you are like finishing something. I always say that the Four of Wands is kind of a finish line card. These people, this right here is the finish line that you have to cross. So a lot of you could be like crossing some sort of finish line, I feel. And next you have this Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is fortune after difficulty, happy home, happy family. So I do feel that you are entering into a happier time. I think you will be very happy, really, with this reading, just based off of like what's coming up here. There's like a lot more happiness and joy, but definitely could be, you meeting a person you will have a family with. Could be a person that helps heal your heart as well. With the Three of Swords, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, like what's it worth? Three of Swords, it's like and Seven of Pentacles, it's like looking at your heartbreaks and saying, is it really worth it to be heartbroken over this bozo, this past person that hurt me, this past person that did this, that, or the other thing? Doesn't even have to be a person. Is it worth it being hurt over XYZ, or could you use your time more wisely, right? And so, I don't know, that's those are the words that popped into my head. What's it worth? I don't know, that might mean something else to some of you as well, right? But it's like, I do get this very blunt energy here. I can't really describe it, but I do feel like some of you are getting to that place where, like, and I'm not saying emotions are bad, so, like, don't take this the wrong way. But I do feel like some of you are just saying, like, things that normally would have made you emotional in the past. It's almost like you're saying, like, what's it worth? Like, do I need to be emotional about this, or can I just let it go? I don't know. I get that energy. With the Four of Wands, you have the Knight of Swords. Someone is charging into your life, for sure. It's an excellent time for love for water signs anyway. This might be something that moves a little bit quickly, but I don't know. It's like sometimes it just works, right? And so I'm not encouraging you to rush or anything like that, but, it's like sometimes all of a sudden you move in with a person, right? There you go. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands is a burden. Ten of Wands says you need to release burdens, but at the same time, I do personally like the Ten of Wands. He's very close to reaching his home in the background here, so he's about to reach his goal, and that's the whole point of the card, is that he's very close to reaching his goal. And yeah, that's, I think that a lot of you have been burdened for a long time. We talk about it all the time in your reading, Scorpio, that you've definitely dealt with some burdens, and I think you are releasing those burdens. And also I think you're you have a lot of finish line cards here as well. I didn't even talk about that. Eight of Wands is quick conclusions, things happening quickly, things ending quickly. Four of Wands, finish line card. It looks like there could be a lot of like positive conclusions during these eclipses as well. So I definitely like to see that. We're going to see if there's anything that wants to come out that I missed. You have this manipulation card. I didn't talk about this. This is a good card. This is Jupiter and Scorpio, this card. And it's not like manipulation in a bad way. This is a card of manipulating the energy of, basically law of attraction and, manifesting. And it is an excellent time for manifesting. You have this authority card. Yes, another thing I missed, for sure, because it is an excellent time as well for water signs, I believe, to step into authority positions, leadership roles. Sorry, I dropped it. Things like that. So I think it's a great time for that. You have another good thing to do, Ace of Swords. You have this vision card. Yeah, hold your vision. Ace of Swords is laser-like focus. The vision card is about having a vision, having a thing to aim at, right? Like a bow and arrow. And I feel that having like a goal or something you want to achieve at this time, it doesn't even matter how big or small it is. It could be something very simple, but I would just come up with something because it will probably lead to more fulfillment. You have this intuition card. Yeah, excellent time for intuition. You have the High Priestess. I think you are downloading messages probably from your higher self with that Judgment card. So I would be listening to any messages that you're receiving at this time as well here, Scorpio. You have this Quarrel card. Yeah, I would avoid any conflicts. At the end of the year here there is something about the energy that could bring up conflict. So I would avoid conflicts at all costs. You've probably heard me say this recently. I've been saying recently, like, no road rage, no flipping people off on the road, no none of that type of stuff, right? So there you go. But this looks pretty good, Scorpio. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your eclipse.